Hey, my friends, we are live at 5. And it is 5 o'clock, so we're on time today. Hey, so I get questions, and this is an opportunity for me to answer those questions. So first of all, if you have questions, drop them in the chat box, and we can answer them. And if you want me to, I'll just call out your name. We'll just call out your first name. So if you don't want me to call you out, it'll just be your first name. But we'll recognize you and answer your question here live, or we can answer it next time if that's a question that comes up more often. So also today before I get into this, today we are going to announce the winner of the 2 tickets to Frightmares. And so we have that. That's coming up here towards the end. And so pretty exciting for that. And then this next week, we're going to be doing an Amazon gift card, and it's a good one. So I'll talk about that here in just a minute as well. But let's get on with the questions that's come up, and that's appraisal. So today is appraisal day. What is an appraisal? What is an appraisal? That's probably the best thing to start with. So when you are getting financing on a home, the lenders, the investors are going to want to know, what is the value of your house? Because everybody thinks that their house is worth a certain amount. You might be right on, you might be low, but oftentimes you're a little bit high, especially in this crazy market, just because everybody hears how much houses are appraising for. So we want a real value of what that house is worth, so that when they're financing when we're getting financing ready, the investors know that, oh yeah, this really is worth $400,000, and it's not worth $500,000 like we thought. So hopefully, if that's not always the case, that it comes in low, but sometimes it does. And I'm live, and I've got dogs barking. Hey, stop! Hey, stop! So if we have, sorry, I thought somebody was at the door. That's what you get when we get live. So what is an appraisal? An appraisal is an opinion of value. So this is not an exact science when an appraisal is done. So an appraisal, if you hire 2 appraisers to do an appraisal on your house, you probably are going to get a little bit different value. Now, it's not going to be a wide stretch. They're going to be in the ballpark. But if one's saying, hey, your house is worth 305, and one says it's worth 308, well, that's because the adjustments may have come in different. Now, when I say adjustments, how they get the appraised value is they're going to look at your house. They're going to come out and make measurements. So they're going to know how many square feet you have. They're going to see how many bedrooms that are finished. They're going to see how much of the house has been finished. Is there a basement that's unfinished or partially finished? How many bathrooms? All that works into the value of the appraisal, as well as how big is your lot? Is the yard finished? Is there a fence? Is there a garage? How big is the garage? All that stuff counts towards the value of the house. And then they go out and they look at other homes in your proximity of where you live and compare that with your house. And they will see how much those homes have sold for, and that gives them a value. So when they're looking at those houses, there may be some differences. Say that the square footage is a little bit less or a little bit more, or they have one less bedroom or one more bedroom, or something like that. So they will take some adjustments and say, okay, this is how much this whole home sold for. The value per square foot is about this much. You have one more bedroom than this house does. So there's some adjustments. So that's really what an appraisal is. It's really just an opinion of value when you're getting financing. So can you get one thing is something called an appraisal waiver. And when you're doing a refinance or even a purchase, there's a possibility that we don't even have to do an appraisal. So that's really a good thing. And there's lots of reasons why we could or could not get an appraisal waiver. But if we can, we're definitely going to try and get an appraisal waiver. So I think that kind of gives you an idea of what an appraisal is. I know there's some questions that came on. You want to come on and ask me some questions? Sydney, my producer, is in the background, my marketing manager. There she is. Hey, Sydney.
Hey. So
yeah, go ahead.
The first question that we have is, what are some of the things that negatively affect appraisal value?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when we were just talked about the appraisal being having adjustments, one of the things, so there's things that could negatively affect your appraisal. So things could be you have old paint and it's starting to peel, or which they'll probably make you fix. It could be that just stuff that needs fixed. The house is run down, the house is dated, the carpet is in bad shape, you have holes in the wall, you have broken windows. There's some of those kind of things that are just obvious that will affect your appraisal. Now, some of those things, depending on the type of appraisal you're getting or finance you're getting, whether it's like an FHA or VA versus a conventional, they may make you fix some of those things, like a broken window or holes in the wall or holes in the carpet. They may make you fix some of those things. So what they're doing, the negative things are, they're looking at the houses that have already sold and comparing them to yours, and things that, so if you're looking at a brand new house and yours is 20 years old and it's really dated, they're going to compare that against the newer homes. So that's what's going to affect your appraisal negatively. As well as like roofs. Is the roof need repaired? Does it need, there's only a 2-year lifespan left on it? Of course, it's going to be an opinion. So those are some things that can negatively affect your appraisal. Sydney, what else do we have? By the way, if you're on here and you want some questions answered, just drop them in the chat.
So our next question is, what are seller concessions and how do they affect an appraisal?
Okay, so seller concessions don't really affect an appraisal. A seller concession is, let's say you make an offer on a home and you you say, hey, seller, I want you to pay $3,000 of my closing costs. That's a seller concession. And that's the normal seller concessions. It could be other things, but that's just something that the seller is willing to do for you to help you get into the home. So that's a seller concession. So if they say they're going to pay $3,000 worth of closing costs, that means that they're probably paying for your appraisal. You don't have to pay for that. So your cash to close at the end of when you close on the loan, that means that you don't have to come in with them as much. So it could affect, it's not going to affect the appraisal and your value, but it could affect that you don't have to bring in quite so much. So Sydney, any more questions that's come in?
Yes, we've got a couple more questions. So the next question is, how much do appraisals cost?
Okay, before I get to that, remember, if you're on here, we're going to announce the winner to 2 tickets to Frightmares here in just a minute. So how much do appraisal cost? That can vary. Normally your $350 to $500 is probably a normal range for an appraisal. Now, if you have a big home, if you have a home where you're over 700,000, million, they're going to cost more. If you have a home that's a rental, now they have to attach what's called rent schedules, and that's more work for the appraisal, so they're going to cost more. So there's certain things that are being done that may affect the appraisal cost. Large values, rentals, investment properties, things if they have to travel a long way. So if you're up in the mountains and it's a cabin and you don't have year-round access, that may affect the cost, because now the appraiser has to walk a half a mile just to get to your house. So they're definitely not going to do that for free. So anyway, so that's the appraisal cost thing. Any other questions that's come up, Sydney?
No, that's everything so far. Debbie has said great info, and Jennifer has said hi. So
hey, Debbie and Jennifer, nice to see you guys here. Okay, so the winner that I'm going to announce in just a minute for the 2 tickets to Frightmares. Now, before I announce that winner, remember that now you may not know this, but we're going to continue the giveaways. So the giveaway this coming week is going to be a $100 Amazon gift card. So I'm going to announce the winner. So before I get to all that, let's just announce the winner. So Sydney is in the background, and we have just a randomizer on the computer that's coming up that she's picking out a random winner. Hopefully, you got that. You got that, right, Sydney? Yeah, she's got that. Okay, it's right here. She's going to give me a chat. And the winner is...
Do you want me to say it, or do you want to say it?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell me who the winner is.
The winner is Carolee Hernandez.
All right, Carolee Hernandez. Carolee Hernandez is the winner of the 2 tickets to Frightmares. So I'm curious. Hey, you guys, stop. I got dogs here. Hey, so I'm curious, Sydney, will you go and check to see how many entries or approximately, because I'm just curious, like, did she enter once or did she enter like a bunch of times? I'm just curious.
Let me go look here quick.
So while she's doing that, I'm going to announce, so we're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card this coming week. So don't stop sharing and liking. So what it is we are out in my front yard. I could take my computer and walk out there and show you today's. I set up a skeleton display and I change it every single morning, which is, I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I think I'm crazy, but so we said, and so if you share it, you like it, to be qualified, you have to like or follow us on my business page on the Pippin team, not just my personal page, but business page on Pippin team. There's my wife. Hey, Sandy. Or on my Instagram page. So if you like them, then you're qualified. Hey, there's my friends from Alaska, Danielle and Kylie. Kylie's like a top, she's a gymnastic girl that is like going to meets and all kinds of stuff all across the country. So there she is. Hey, Kylie. We're live, by the way.
We were watching in the car.
Oh, cool. Oh, were you? Oh, cool. Okay, so Amazon $100 gift certificate this next week. Continue to like and share. So all the likes and shares that you've done this week, they're going away. So if you are liking, or if you follow us on Facebook, or if you follow us on Instagram, then you're automatically qualified. And you're qualified to enter. So you have to like, share, and tag somebody to get entries. And if you tag somebody or share to me, I'm going to have Sydney. Sydney, you tell me, that's extra entries, right?
Yeah, that's 5 extra entries if you tag us and share it.
Okay, so 5 extra entries. So out of curiosity, how many did Carolee do? Did she
Carolee entered over 20 times. So she was sharing a lot.
Oh, nice. So that's why. I mean, so it pays off. I have to tell you, my wife just crawled past me because she didn't want to be on the camera. She's looking at, I'm going to be killed after we get off the air here. So anyway, go and continue to share, continue to like, go follow us on the Pippin team on Facebook and Ron Pippin on Instagram. And you're qualified, but you have to enter. So if we don't have any more questions, we'll wrap up this live at 5, and we'll talk to you next week.